Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to define some general angles and measure radian measures. All right, you're going to need your calculator and your notes, and here we go. This first slide is very important, so please make sure you get it into your notes. Angles and standard position. Each angle has an initial side and a terminal side. So if you look at this picture over here to the right, our initial side, when we're in standard position, has a vertex at the origin and has initial side on the positive x-axis. All right, the terminal side is where our angle ends. All right, moving on. Now, we also have positive and negative angles. Yes, there are negative angles. The measures of an angle is positive if the rotation of its terminal side is counterclockwise. So if it's positive, it's going to look like this. We're going to start here on our initial side, and then we're going to move counterclockwise to get to our terminal side. And it's negative if we rotate clockwise. So I start here at my initial side, I move clockwise, then this is going to be negative. Okay? So the green one is positive, the red one is negative. Also very important to have in our notes, angles can even be formed by going around more than once. All right, now we're going to get a couple of examples of drawing angles. So make sure we have 4 of these. Make sure you get all 4 in your notes, please. We have to draw the angle with the given measure in standard position. So we're always going to be starting on our positive x-axis side. Now, when I draw my angles, I know it's 65. Here is 0. Here is 90. So I know it's going to be somewhere between 0 and 90, closer to 90 than 0. So I like to draw my terminal side first, and then I add in my angle. This is 65 degrees. Same thing for this one over here. We have 230. We start on our initial side. We have 0. 90, 180, 270. Now we know 230 is between 180 and 270, so I'll put in my terminal side over here. Draw in my angle. This is 230 degrees. Now you guys, they don't have to be precise and exact. We just want to have it in somewhat the right area, okay? All right, we have 2 more. We're going to do a negative one, and we're going to do one that's over 360. So for this one, we start on our initial side. This is standard position. Now we go negative 300. So when we think about this, this is now 90. This is 180. This is 270. And this will give us back to 360. So we have to be somewhere between 270 and 360. About right here. Since it's negative, we're going to go clockwise, negative 300 degrees. Now, our last example, we have to make sure we get in our notes because 470 is greater than 360. So how we deal with this one is we're going to take 740 and we're going to subtract 360 because that's going to be a whole circle. We're going to go all the way around once. When we do that, we get 380. Now the problem is we still have more than a full circle here. So I'm going to subtract 360 again. So I'm going to make 2 full circles. And then what is left, I have 20. So I have to do 2 full circles and 20 degrees. All in a positive rotation. So I start with my initial side. I go around once, twice, and now I have to go to 20 degrees, which is about right there, give or take. That's where this is going to end. So this is 740 degrees. All right, ladies and gentlemen, very important that we go around as many times as necessary. All right, moving on. Last thing we're going to need to put in our notes today is coterminal angles. Angles whose terminal or ending side coincide. So our ending sides coincide. They're going to end at the same spot. Now make sure you have this down. To find an angle coterminal with a given angle, we are going to add or subtract multiples of 360. This is very, very important. So for example, if I wanted to do 90 degrees, so I start here, I go to 90, and now if I wanted to find a positive or negative one from 90, so negative, I start at my initial side, I go all the way around, and that's going to be 270, negative 270. And if I try this, 90 minus 360 equals negative 270. So that's correct. Now if I wanted to find a positive one, I'd have to start at my initial and I have to go around at least once. So I start, I go around once, so that's 360 plus 90 more. So I have 90 plus 360 equals 450 degrees. So this one's 450 degrees. All right, we're going to do a couple examples like this. So here I have 65. So I'm just going to take 65 plus 360 and 65 minus 360 to get my two answers. And I'm going to get 396 and negative 296 degrees, of course. Same thing with 230. I'm going to take 230 plus 360. And I get 590 degrees, and then I'm going to take 230 plus, minus, 360, and I'm going to get negative 130 degrees. And last but not least, I have negative 300, so I'm going to take negative 300 plus 360. I'm going to get 60 degrees, and negative 300 minus 360. And I'm going to get negative 660 degrees. All right, so that's how we determine if we have a positive and a negative coterminal angles. All right, last thing for our notes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be converting between radians and degrees frequently. So a radian is a measure of an angle that cuts 1 radian's worth of a circle. So this is how you're going to convert. We're going to set up a proportion. This is very, very important. You must highlight star. We will be using this proportion. Degrees over 360 equals radians over 2 pi. Now if you also want to note this, we are going to be leaving all radians in terms of pi. Okay? All right. First example, we need to convert 120 degrees into radians. So we know when we set this up, it's going to be degrees over 360 equals radians over 2 pi. So we have to leave it in terms of pi. We have to remember that. Plug in what we know. I know the degrees, so I have 120 over 360 equals, I'm going to call my radians x over 2 pi. Solve for this, I'm going to cross multiply. So I get 360x equals 240 pi. Divide both sides by 360. Now I don't want decimals, ladies and gentlemen, so we have to simplify this. We're going to leave it as a fraction, so it's going to be x equals 2 pi all over 3. And that will be our final answer there. All right, we're going to do one more example and we'll be done for the day. Now we need to convert 5 pi radians into degrees. So we know it's going to be degrees over 360, because that's how many are in a circle, over radians over 2 pi. So I don't know my degrees this time, so I'm going to put in x all over 360 equals 5 pi all over 2 pi. Cross multiply, I'm going to get 2 pi x equals 1,800 pi. To simplify, I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi. That will cancel. Over here, 2 pi. Pi's will cancel. 1,800 divided by 2 is 900. And since we're working with the degrees, we're going to label it degrees. And that is all I have for you, wonderful people. I hope you go out and enjoy the day, and I will be seeing you later. Bye.